Another win for the Toronto Maple Leafs on Monday night. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks 4-1, and now the Leafs are a point ahead of Florida for tops in the Atlantic Division. They lost to the Panthers 5-1 late November. They will face Florida 3 more times this season as we bring in our Director of Scouting, Craig Button, to talk about this Leafs team who've now won 9 of their last 11 games. Craig, they couldn't be hotter right now, and now that you have Matthews back, the split up for the core four is Matthews with Nylander, Mitch Marner with John Tavares. Do you like the way that Craig Berube is splitting up the core four?
I do like the way he's done it. And part of it was necessity, Jay, with the Matthews injury. Then Tavares and Marner ended up playing with one another and were terrific. And we see that William Nylander can drive play in a significant way. We know that Austin Matthews is a superstar. So now you have the ability as a coach to see how these things can work. Matthews and Nylander. I mean, Matthews on this goal, I mean, we know that he ended up going to Germany. It looks like he was doing some work on the Autobahn, that passage all the way up the ice. I mean, this is what it looks like on the Autobahn, Jay, and Matthews with the perfect finish. So when you consider that Matthews is such an elite player, a superstar, that Nylander can drive play, Marner can drive play, and I think that helps John Tavares. You know, early on in the season, it was like, where's John Tavares going to play? Is he going to be a third-line center? Is he going to be a left winger? Where's Max Domi going to play? When you play with Mitch Marner, I think that really helps whoever's playing alongside him. And I think in this case that John Tavares really benefits from playing with Mitch Marner. Mitch can hold the puck. John doesn't have to race up and down the ice. And I think with Matthews and Nylander occupies so much of the opposition's attention, that frees up Austin Matthews. And we know that Austin Matthews is a great goal scorer, and he continues to show that he can score in different ways. And as we extend this through to what the Leafs need to do come playoff time, it's understanding that you're going to have to score in different ways and maybe score with different players. I think this is a great opportunity, and we've seen real significant results for the players and for Craig Berube to really feel confident and comfortable with what works.
And then you talk about the goaltending, Craig. Joe Woll, Anthony Stolarz. They're both top 5 in the NHL in goals against and save percentage. This is a position, goaltending, that has always been, the last few years, so uncertain for this Leafs team. Do you consider it now an area of strength for this team?
No question it's an area of strength. Brad Treliving signs Joseph Woll to a long-term contract. He signs Anthony Stolarz. You know, a little bit of, I guess, what I would call is uncertainty with Joseph Woll not starting the year healthy. But since he's got back into the net, this is a tandem. You just read off the numbers. I think this is a tandem that has no better tandem in the NHL. Maybe no equal. When I watch them play, and you can alternate, Woll plays great in Tampa Bay on Saturday. Stolarz comes back here, was terrific in the second period versus his Blackhawks team. And now I'm looking at a tandem that's not going to be taxed to one goaltender or another. And I quite frankly see it as very similar to what Boston deployed with Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. And when you look at the way the game is played, how hard it is, the traffic in and around the net, everything that goes with it, when you can have 2 goaltenders that are so capable and have that tandem, I think it's just a great advantage for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they have that now.
Let's talk about the Blackhawks specifically. Let's talk about their young superstar, Connor Bedard. Had his 3-game point streak snapped on Monday night. He's been incredibly hard on himself, Craig, like visibly hard on himself when you see him out on the ice, frustrated. Have you been disappointed in his play in any way, or do you just see this as growing pains for a kid who's just in his second year in the NHL on a team that, all due respect, is not very good?
You're right. The team is not that very good. And Connor Bedard's going to be hard on himself because he expects a lot of himself. He's achieved at outstanding levels. And even last year, when you look at what he did, so there's an expectation from Connor himself to play better, to produce more. I'm not disappointed in Connor Bedard. He comes in the league last year as a rookie. The rest of the league is trying to see, let's see what he's got. Well, he showed you what he's got. Well, now they adjust somewhat to Connor Bedard, and now it's up to him to adjust. They call it a sophomore jinx for a reason. It's usually because now the rest of the league knows what Connor Bedard is capable of doing. Nathan McKinnon won the Rookie of the Year when he first came to the league as an 8-year-old. And he had some speed bumps along the way after that, before emerging as one of the very best players on the planet. And I don't have any doubt that Connor Bedard is an elite talent, is going to be a superstar. But right now, he is going through that stretch of growing pains and understanding. And, you know, I guess if I'm Luke Richardson, I'd be trying to pull Connor aside to say, hey, listen, just keep playing, keep doing your thing. Don't get angry with yourself. Don't get down on yourself. You're too good. It will come, and we're going to work with you.
And stay off social media. Craig, Leafs play 3 more times this week. Next up, Nashville on Wednesday. Craig, always great to chat with you. We'll talk to you later.
The Toronto Maple Leafs may be taking a new approach to salary management, which could directly impact Mitch Marner's contract negotiations. During Kyle Dubas' tenure as general manager, the team didn't hesitate to spend heavily, and this trend began with a 6-year extension signed by Marner in 2019. At the time, Marner's $10.9 million annual cap hit set the market for superstar wingers, surpassing comparable players like Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche, who signed a 6-year deal with a $9.25 million annual cap hit. Now, however, times seem to be changing. TSN's Pierre Lebrun recently reported that the Maple Leafs have implemented an internal salary cap, aiming to ensure no player earns more than captain Austin Matthews, who signed a 4-year extension worth $13.25 million per season in August 2023. The team's primary concern revolves around Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, who, according to Lebrun, might push for a percentage of the total salary cap instead of a fixed dollar amount. This could result in Marner's cap hit exceeding Matthews' $13.25 million, conflicting with the Leafs' new financial strategy. Ferris is known for driving negotiations to the limit, often taking his clients to free agency. This raises fears that discussions between Marner and the Leafs could drag on until July 1st, giving Marner and his camp all the leverage in negotiations. Another complicating factor is the rising market. Lebrun noted that Mikko Rantanen believes he could secure $14 million per season as a free agent. This sparks the question, could Marner demand even more? And would Ferris take that gamble, knowing the Leafs might opt to move on and sign another player? Marner has made it clear on multiple occasions that Toronto is where he wants to be. As a local player with deep ties to the city, he's expressed his desire to spend his entire career wearing the blue and white of the Leafs. However, staying with the team may require him to accept less than market value, especially if the front office remains committed to its new salary structure. Such a sacrifice could be vital for the team's collective success and to avoid financial issues that have plagued the recent past. While negotiations are still in the early stages, it's evident that Marner's future with the Leafs is at stake. Maple Leafs fans may need to prepare for the possibility of significant changes, but they can also trust in the player's commitment to the city and the franchise to find a compromise. The Maple Leafs' decision to implement an internal salary cap reflects a broader shift in their team-building philosophy. After years of prioritizing top-end talent with hefty contracts, the organization appears determined to strike a balance between superstar contracts and depth throughout the roster. This strategy aims to avoid the pitfalls of past seasons, where a lack of financial flexibility often left the team vulnerable in critical playoff moments. For Mitch Marner, this shift creates a unique challenge. On one hand, his value to the Leafs is undeniable. A consistent top scorer and elite playmaker, Marner has been instrumental in driving the team's offense. On the other hand, his ability to command a salary that rivals or exceeds Austin Matthews could put the Leafs in a difficult position, especially with a potential need to strengthen other areas of the roster. As the 2023-24 season progresses, the Leafs must weigh the potential consequences of sticking to their cap philosophy. Losing a homegrown talent like Marner would undoubtedly sting for fans and the organization alike. However, allowing one player to dictate financial terms beyond the team's structure could hinder long-term success and force painful sacrifices elsewhere. Adding to the complexity is the looming free agency of William Nylander. If the Leafs are to stick to their internal salary cap, they may also face challenges in retaining Nylander, who could command a significant raise. Balancing contracts for both Marner and Nylander within the new framework could prove to be the ultimate test for Toronto's management team. Another factor at play is the team's ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup. While star players like Marner and Matthews are crucial, history has shown that depth and balanced rosters often prevail in the postseason. If the Leafs fail to manage their finances effectively, they risk falling short of building a championship-caliber team, even with elite talent. For Marner, the decision to stay with the Leafs might come down to more than just dollars. His connection to the city, the fans, and his teammates could be deciding factors. If he prioritizes legacy and loyalty over maximizing earnings, there's a strong possibility that he'll work with a team to find a deal that benefits both parties. Negotiations will also test Darren Ferret.